I think this is a good time to ask this question. And the question is going to be, what are your suggestions for keeping your morale up during the process? And so by that, I actually mean, both passing the exam, but also failing the exam. That can be, most people I know fail at least one section of the exam. I know I failed one of them myself. And so, the way you handle that is unique. So I'll start with Josh. Josh, what are your suggestions for keeping your morale up during the process and dealing with the, failing a section of the exam, but then also passing one?
Okay, well, so one thing I actually did was I kind of made a day out of each exam. First thing was the day before the exam, I usually took off work just to kind of relax and get into a zone where I wasn't so stressed out about things. The second was the idea of rewarding myself after the exam, and this is going to sound incredibly nerdy, but after every single exam, I went to the CAF and bought a Lego kit, and that's what I did the evening
That's
after
awesome.
That's awesome.
And so going back to when I failed PPP, as bad as this is to say, once I started finding out that not only had one of my other friends also failed it, but 3 of my other friends failed that same section, I felt a little better about it. It was just one of those, all right, well, maybe failing an exam is part of it, and the real, story of it is going back, taking it, passing it, and being like, hey, whatever, so what, I failed one. I ended up passing it at the end and passed them all and got my license. And then the end of it, at the very end, after I got my license, just had a huge party with a bunch of my friends, went to this great German restaurant in Logan Square, and then after to a bar and made a hell of a night out of it. And
Awesome.
that's what it was.
Cool. Jennifer, how about yourself?
That's awesome. No, I definitely think it's important to kind of create incentives, to keep your morale going, and definitely reward yourself after you take an exam. You don't know immediately if you passed or failed, but you just spent a whole month studying and you're exhausted, so might as well just let loose a little bit and just reward yourself. Go out, have fun, and it's hard to. It's a big mountain you're climbing. It's hard to think oh, I passed one, I have 5 more to go, or oh, I failed one, oh, I have so many more to go. But I think it's more about just taking that moment right there and just relaxing and celebrating your mini milestone, so you can keep going.
Awesome.
I love the idea of giving yourself a reward for taking the exam, even more than for passing it. It's great when you pass it, you should definitely have a big party and do all that. But the process of feeling positive and studying and, lining it up and making it happen, I think that's a really great way. And I really like the idea of having those be kind of memorable things. Like in Josh's example, the Legos, those Legos are going to be sitting in his office or in his house, forever, because those will be the exam Legos, right? Or maybe it's it's a different restaurant that you've always wanted to go to for each different exam or something like that, and you kind of use that as a way to kind of celebrate the fact that you've put the time in, and if you have to do it again, you get to go to another restaurant. It's all good.
Yep.
How about you, Charlie?
A lot of the same things. It's celebrating every small victory.
Did you go out after
like I said,
every day and
That's right.
drink yourself?
Drink himself to oblivion
Right.
every night, and then wake up the next morning, take another exam.
Right.
There was a Buffalo Wild Wings across the street from the testing center, so after the exam, I'd usually go out and grab a beer while I waited for my wife to come get me.
Nice.
But no, celebrating not even just taking the exam and passing the exam, but making a plan or scheduling the exam, celebrate scheduling the exam, tell people about it, and you're all right, this is real now. But also, just in making that plan and in sitting down and actually making a realistic plan for how much time you can commit to it, building into that time to breathe and step back from it. Because if you say, okay, this is exactly how many hours I can spare for the exam, this is everything that's not mandatory, sleep or work. If you burn yourself out studying too hard, you're not useful, and you're not going to retain things. So it's better to make a realistic plan that involves some downtime, some plan time to think about other things, than to try and cram all the way leading up to it and burn yourself out and fail and then have to do it all over again. So yeah, as part of like building time to relax into your study plan, I think is huge. And again, yeah, celebrating every small victory. I went to Mexico. That was pretty great.
Mexico, nice.